We are live, sir. We may start.
A very good evening to all the student applicants, their parents and their well-wishers who have joined for this live online session that would be giving an overview of the admission process in general with regard to various dimensions of career guidance, and more particularly about the engineering and law admissions at Shastra University. Let me at the outset begin by introducing myself. I am Dr. S. Vaidya Subramaniam, the Vice Chancellor of Shastra Deemed University. And on behalf of the entire Shastra family, let me first congratulate all the students for having put up a wonderful performance in their Class 12 board examinations, which for the first time is reflective of your consistent performance from Class 10 onwards. That truly reflects the effort that you have taken over a continuous period of time to do well in your academics. Let me first congratulate all of you on your wonderful performance this far. What I will be doing in the next 90 minutes is to first give you a quick guidance in terms of what lies ahead of students who are at the crossroads, and more importantly, crossroads during these turbulent times. And generally, for those who have been watching my live lectures in many of those career fairs that many media houses organize in the last few years, I have been talking in various platforms and also written a lot of articles on the admission trends with a little bit of advisory to parents and students. Now, I am not able to address a live audience, nor being able to write repeat articles in the same newspapers. But the message remains the same. The amount of tension, the amount of concern, the amount of confusion remains the same. And this time, it has multiplied because of the uncertainties that are surrounding all of us. No doubt, the Class 12 results have been released. So one element of uncertainty has been removed. But the lesson that we have learned, that many of you have read today's editions of various newspapers, how competitive the Class 12 results have been is a big lesson for all of us. That all boards have designed a methodology which has been fair given the tough circumstances that we are surrounded with. And the results have been released. By and large, the competition is intense at all levels. To add more to that is also the entrance examinations for professional courses that have been conducted. By entrance examinations, I'm referring to the JEE main, 3 rounds of which is over, and the results for the 3rd round hopefully should be released by August 10th. And CLAT for law admissions, the results of which were released a few days back. So the level of competition, both in the Class 12 and the professional college entrance examinations, has been very intense. And we didn't want to again add one more dimension to the competition. And that's why we don't conduct our own entrance examinations, and that has been our policy so far, that we never conduct our entrance examinations. We believe in the Class 12 marks released by the respective boards, and also the entrance examination that is conducted by NTA, and that is why we take a combination of these two, about which I will be explaining to you as we move forward. And in the entire process, we ensure that the applicant is put through a very transparent, fair, and non-exploitative admission process. That has been our guiding factor when it comes to Shastra admissions. And that is supposed to be the guiding factor by and large for the entire professional college admission system in India. But nevertheless, still there are concerns from various parents and students who are feeling a little confused, very uncertain, so much so that many of them are seeking admissions even before the results were declared. And I have been repeatedly in many of my articles before and many of my talks, I've been advising parents to exercise a little bit of patience. For I very strongly believe that the best reward that you can give to your own wards, your son or daughter, is the realization of the fact that they got their admission on their own merits. That is the best reward that you can give as parents to your own wards. So that is why I have always been insisting that wait for the results to come. Wait for class 12 or competitive examination results to come, and then start the admission process, then to actually accelerate and finish your admission process even before the results are declared, which unfortunately may happen in some places. And many of the applicants also ask me the question as to why the application sales in Shastra in particular is not a few lakhs, while other institutions, the application sales are a couple of lakhs and plus. I always give this example that we fix our last date of receiving completed applications after the class 12 and the entrance examination results are declared, so that the applicant has the benefit of information of their class 12 scores and the competitive examination scores, and then take a decision whether to apply or not. We don't want an artificial application deadline that is even before, in many cases, the student even sits for the class 12 examination, and thereby forcing many students to buy an application form. That's not the model that we actually encourage, and we have never followed that in the last so many years. And one example that I always give is they immediately say that the seats available to the applications ratio is not comparable when it is compared with other institutions where application sales run into lakhs. The Harvard Business School, which is supposed to be one of the world's premier business schools, for the 1,000 students that they admit, they receive a little over 10,000 application forms. And the ratio is hence 1:10 or 1:11. But that doesn't mean that Harvard Business School is inferior to other business schools or other institutions that claim 1:40, 1:50 because of the application numbers. The reason is students who have a relatively higher GMAT score are the ones who will spend a couple of hundred or 300 US dollars to buy a Harvard Business School application form. Only if they are very confident that they have a chance to get admitted, they would buy them. So we would want the students to have the benefit of their class 12 scores, professional entrance examination scores, and then take an informed decision even before they apply. And that's the reason we always have our last day after the results are being declared. Now, with this small advisory to the parents to be a little patient, because this time also the results were just released. Still one more round of JEE main is yet to be completed. And of course, the other NEET entrance examination is yet to happen. So still the students have a fair chance in appearing for these entrance examinations and test their own merits in this professional college admission system. So give them that opportunity to realize the fact and enjoy the result that they got their admission on their own merit, and not because you knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody and got the admission. So that's one of the biggest, I shouldn't say advice, but the expectation that I always have from parents, so that the students taste their own success themselves. With this as the background, I will in the next 30 minutes give you a quick overview of the Shastra admission process. And I am mindful of the fact that we have disabled the chat box, because my endeavor now is to ask all the questions that you have in your mind myself and give answers to those. So if you are closely observing the session, most of your questions will be answered. And just when I am about to close the session, the chat box will be enabled, just in case if I have left some major issues to be covered, then you can always type your questions and we will take the questions. And that's to that extent, we will have this session interactive. So let me first begin with the Shastra admission overview, which predominantly I will be concentrating on the engineering admissions and the law admissions. Beginning with the eligibility criteria. For the engineering admissions, most of you read in the newspapers in the early part of this year about the issue of maths and physics being made as optional subjects. But we have decided that we will continue our policy of making maths and physics as mandatory subjects for any engineering degree, because we strongly believe that maths and physics need to be studied as subjects in class 12 for an engineering degree. And hence, maths and physics are mandatory subjects. And the aggregate, which means the overall score in class 12, has to be 60%. And that's the eligibility criteria for engineering courses. So if you don't have maths, it doesn't mean that you can get BTech in biotechnology, which is, people think that it is actually biology, physics, chemistry, and maths is not required. But actually, maths is very much required even for courses that predominantly revolve around disciplines of life sciences like biotechnology or bioinformatics. On the other hand, for law, the eligibility criteria is a pass a class 12 from any background, whether it's the science background or commerce or whatever be the background, the class 12 scores must be 60%. And this is the eligibility criteria for the law students. Now, the basis on which the admissions will be done, as we have already answered in many of the sessions before and also available in the FAQ section, the engineering admissions will be done based on two streams, stream 1 and stream 2. Stream 1 will have a combination of your class 12 scores and your JEE main scores in the weightage of 75% for class 12 scores and 25% for your JEE main scores. The weightage that we give, we are ensuring that the class 12 aggregate scores is normalized, and your JEE scores, we take the absolute scores that you get, the percentile of the 3 subjects from your JEE main. We take that as an absolute score and add weightage to that 25%, and then combining both your class 12 and your JEE main score, we will have a rank list for stream 1. While on the other hand, stream 2 will be only based on your class 12 aggregate scores, which will be normalized. So of the total seats that are available for engineering, 50% of the seats will be for stream 1 and 50% of the remaining 50% will be for stream 2. And in both the streams, we have allotted 30% of the seats for students who have completed their schooling in Trichy and Tanjavur districts, to make sure that we are also locally responsive to the ecosystem in and around Shastra, of which 10% is clearly for Tanjavur, 10% clearly for Trichy, and the remaining 10% combining Tanjavur and Trichy based on the rank that they get. And the remaining 70% is 30% all India basis, and the remaining is for students within Tamil Nadu. So this is how we also ensure that there is diversity amongst the student community, and at the same time, we are locally responsive to the student community that is in and around our campus. And as we do every year, we have the supernumerary seats for students from J&K and the Northeastern region, for which we have some enabling provisions so that students from these states are also brought into the campus of Shastra. And then for law, the entire admission will be only based on the ranks that you secure in class 12 and CLAT scores, which were released very recently. Now, you might have a question, what if you had not written JEE or CLAT? Anyway, you will be considered for both the streams in the case of engineering and for law, except that the weightage that we give for JEE main or CLAT will not be there. But you still, suppose you had scored 98% aggregate and you had not written CLAT, still you have a very good chance by virtue of having a very high class 12 score, and you can still get an admission in the law school. So not writing JEE or CLAT doesn't make you ineligible. It is except that the weightage of those competitive exam scores will not be factored in the rank list. While in engineering, the remaining 50%, which is exclusively based on your class 12 scores, you have an equal opportunity competing with similarly placed students who would have missed the JEE examination. So not writing JEE or not writing CLAT doesn't make you ineligible for engineering or law admissions. Now, the last date for submitting your online applications is August 14th. By 5 p.m., you have to submit, which means that you should be having your class 12 scores and should be having, in case you have returned JEE main or CLAT, you should be having your CLAT scores. And for those who are waiting for your JEE third round of results, hopefully the results should be released by August 10th. So my advice is you wait for the results to be declared and then enter your class 12 scores, JEE main scores, and then submit your application. I am just reiterating this. Many are under the false impression that they buy an application form and just submit without entering the data, assuming that we will somehow fill the data ourselves. And they think they have submitted the application form, and repeatedly we are getting a lot of queries as to how you are going to do the rank list. We have not entered the marks. So we are clearly telling you that please enter your class 12 scores, your competitive examination scores in case you have appeared and you have marks for them. For example, CLAT or JEE, if you feel that the first two rounds, you have the better score of the first two, you can enter that and wait till your third round and then decide which of the scores is actually the maximum and enter that particular round score. Assuming that if JEE third round results are not declared by August 14, then choose between your first round and second round and enter that particular score and then submit your application form. Now, assume that if you have not entered your marks, what will happen? Now, beginning tomorrow, we will be enabling another option in our online admission portal where we will ask the student to enter their application number and check their application status. Because at the back end, we have already started receiving thousands of applications and we are doing the verification process based on the data that you have given. If you have submitted your JEE main score and class 12 score, then we would say, yes, it's approved and you wait for your rank list on August 14th. If we find any of the fields empty, we will just say it is pending because you have not entered either your class 12 score or your JEE main score. If you have not returned JEE main, then again you submit your application form, then we know that you have not returned your JEE main, because in some cases you would have returned your JEE roll number but not entered the score. So our system will assume that you have taken the JEE but you have not entered the scores. But if you have a JEE roll number and not appear at all, then make sure you remove the roll number and submit your application form. So to that extent, we will give you the edit option for those who have submitted the application forms beginning tomorrow, so that will be kind of a verification and a validation process to ensure that you have entered your marks correctly and we have also verified it correctly. In case there is a difference, then we always have a help desk, an email. You will send it to us and we will rectify the errors if there are any. We will be doing this process till August 13th. Till August 13th, you can edit your applications. But once we approve and consider your applications as submitted, then you will not be able to edit your application. With that, whatever you have submitted will be taken as your final data for us to process the rank list. The same logic extends to law school admission as well. Class 12 or class core, whatever the case may be, make sure you enter both, verify that you have entered correctly, and validate that our verification is correct by visiting our website beginning tomorrow, and make sure that you complete this process by August 13th. And when you submit your engineering applications, even if your choice of branches, if you want to study only computer science, you will be asked to submit all the choices. The reason is that based on the choices, the first round of iteration, the first counseling, the branches will be allotted based on your choices that you have submitted, based on the ranks that you have secured, and the vacancy position. And suppose your first choice is not available, it will immediately do the allocation for the second choice. So make sure that you submit all the choices so that we don't have to come back to you and ask for more choices. Once you submit that, your list of preferred branches in a particular order, it will be easy for the software to process the rank list when seats are being allotted across different disciplines. Now, when will this happen? Once this entire submission module gets over on August 14th by 5 p.m., August 14th, 9 p.m., the rank list for both engineering and the law admissions will be released. Along with the rank list, you will know the counseling schedule, and the counseling, which will be online, will begin immediately from August 16th. So the first round, you will know what branch you have gotten, and then we will give you time to pay a fee and then close the admissions for the first counseling. Once the first counseling is over, again, based on the response in the first counseling, we will again run the rank list and allot branches for the second round. And this process, just like any other admission counseling process, will maybe go to 3 rounds, 4 rounds, or 5 rounds. And hopefully, we think that this entire counseling process will get over by middle of September or close to the 3rd week of September. Now, when you are admitted to a particular program in round 1, you will maybe be admitted to a program in which you were not originally interested. But if you still want to participate in the counseling moving forward, because assume that somebody who's better placed, if he gets, let's say, computer science, and he is not joining, that seat will remain vacant for the second round allocation. And if you wanted computer science, and let's say you got electrical engineering, now to be considered for that vacant seat in the second round, you have to necessarily get admitted into the program to which you are originally allotted in the first round. Can I withdraw my counseling later? Yes, you can withdraw. Your tuition fees, all the fees that you paid will be refunded. There is no fee for participating in the counseling because you are entitled to participate in the counseling, and only for that you are paying your application fee. So there is no separate counseling fee. You participate in the counseling. If you are allotted a particular branch, maybe that's not your branch of your original desire, but to be considered for the branch in which you are particularly interested, you have to get admitted to a program. And in the subsequent rounds, you will be automatically, in an autogenous way, you will be considered and you will be moving up in your priority list of branches. And you will definitely get a branch of your choice if it is available at that point of time based on the vacancy position and the rank that you have secured. So each student, when the rank list is released, you will get an All India rank. And this is true for both the streams. You will get an All India rank And if you had completed your schooling in Tamil Nadu, 10th and 12th, then you get a Tamil Nadu rank. And if you had completed your schooling 10th and 12th either in Trichy or Tanjavur, you would also get a Trichy or a Tanjavur rank respectively. So a student will get 3 ranks if they studied from Trichy, 2 ranks if they studied from Tamil Nadu, and just an All India rank if you had completed schooling outside the state of Tamil Nadu. And we include Pondicherry also as part of the state of Tamil Nadu. So for both Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry, you will get 2 ranks. So this is how the rank list will appear. And the entire counseling process will happen online. So you will know which branch you're admitted to. You have to pay your fees online. And once this counseling process is over, maybe you are not interested in taking the admission also. So the withdrawal process will happen after the counseling process is over. So we don't want the withdrawal process to happen during the counseling itself, because that again will add one more dimension to the vacancy position. But we will allow the counseling to follow a stable state. And that is why we don't initiate the withdrawal process during the counseling. And once the entire counseling is over, if some students want to withdraw later, then you again have to withdraw, and that withdrawal process is also fully online. Can we change branches later? During the counseling process, I had advised you that you have to necessarily get admitted to a program and then see whether you can get your branches changed as the counseling process moves. But can the branches be changed after the admission? After we close all the counseling and you are admitted, before we start the classes, which means after we close the admission process, before we start the classes, if there are vacancies in some branches, we will do one round of sliding before we start the classes. That is, we have an induction program after which the classes will start. So during the induction program, or just about the time that we are going to finish our induction program, we will do the sliding. Maybe at that point of time also, you might get a branch that you actually originally wanted. After that, is there any chance? Based on your first year performance, based on your CGPA at the end of the first year, if still there are vacancies, there will be another round of sliding at the end of the first year, and still you can get a chance to have your branches changed. So this is how the entire counseling process will happen. The next question that you may have in mind is, when are classes going to be open? We are hoping that this entire counseling process will get over by the 2nd or 3rd week of September, and maybe the last week of September or the first week of October is when we plan to start our classes. Whether it is online or face-to-face depends on the guidelines of the competent authorities, and we want to see you face-to-face when you make this important transition from school to university. As much as you want to come and attend classes on campus, we are also equally eager to receive you on campus. Based on the guidelines issued, we will decide whether it is online or offline. So this is how the entire admission process will pan out, and the same process, except for the basis. Instead of JEE, we will use CLAT. We will be following for the law school as well. So the same process for law school, August 14th rank list, the same counseling. But the counseling for law school maybe will happen once or twice, or at the maximum, you might see 3 rounds, because the seats for the law schools are very limited and it is not like engineering. But the opening will more or less be aligned with the engineering. Hopefully by the last week of September or first week of October is when we will also start classes for the law school. So in case there are some who are watching this session who have not even purchased a form, or they have registered and not purchased a form, you still have time. You have the benefit of your class 12 scores and JEE or CLAT scores. You can enter them, purchase the form, enter them, and submit the application. Many often times, people ask, what is the cutoff? The important thing about the rank list that we give is that it's very difficult to predict a cutoff. More so this year, because the results themselves have got different formula already inherently built into them. Different boards had different ways of releasing the results. And to top it, we also have a JEE component, a CLAT component also. So some of you would have scored good marks in plus two, good marks in JEE, or average marks in JEE. But a combination of that will maybe put you in a better position when compared to somebody who has done extremely well in JEE but did not do well in class 12. So since this is a combination of scores from a competitive examination and from class 12, it's very difficult to come out with a cutoff. It's very difficult to compare this with last year's and say last year this was the cutoff. This year it's going to be different, because this year, as I said, the methodology, the class 12 board scores themselves had a formula that was unique to each of the boards. And then adding that with your JEE or CLAT scores, it's extremely difficult to suggest a cutoff. But generally, what I usually say is that a student with, let's say, an aggregate in class 12 of 80% and above, and a very good JEE main score or a CLAT score put together has a fair chance. With an aggregate of 90 plus and maybe above average JEE main score has a better chance. An aggregate of 95 percentage plus and maybe average JEE score still has a good chance. So it's this combination that actually makes the cutoff very unpredictable. So don't lose hope. You never know that your class 12 scores will help you more than your JEE scores, or vice versa, the JEE scores will help you more than the class 12 score, because the peer group, the other co-applicants also have the same issue. So it's not a problem that is unique to you. The entire applicant pool is a mix of class 12 and competitive examination scores, each of them in varying degree and proportions. And that is why, as I said before, it's extremely difficult to predict a cutoff. So if you're confident that if you feel that, yes, this is a reasonably good class 12 score and a reasonably good JEE score, I will apply. And for those who did not write these examinations, you have to bank only on your class 12 scores. So you have to take a call. If you've scored more than 80%, you might have a good chance. So that's your call that you have to take, because I wouldn't want you to spend on the application form. You make an informed decision before you buy the application form. And that's the reason why we fix our last dates, as I said before, 2 weeks in this admission year after the results are declared. So student friends, parents, I will now stop this session by way of a monologue interaction. I am now opening the chat provision for you. So I will be getting questions. And if I had missed any of these during my session, I will be very happy to take questions from you. So if you have questions, please type them. And I have volunteers here who will submit the questions, and I will try to answer to the best of my abilities. And we will be taking questions up to maybe 5:15. I'm sure all of you are also on the other screen watching a very important Olympics semifinals match. So I am also racing against the match. So let me uh, take the first question about the SRC campus. Okay, the process that I have mentioned is, insofar as the engineering programs are concerned, is the same for our small sister campus in Kumbakonam, which is called the Srinivasa Ramanujan Center. It is named as the Srinivasa Ramanujan Center because Shastra purchased the house of Srinivasa Ramanujan, the Max genius, converted that into a museum, and we have a very big campus in honor of Srinivasa Ramanujan. And there we offer only 2 engineering programs, computer science and ECE, and the admission process is the same for that campus. So there is no law program in Kumbakonam campus, while what is applicable to the engineering campus in Tanjavur is equally applicable to the Kumbakonam campus. The only difference is Kumbakonam campus doesn't have a hostel, while in the main campus here in Tanjavur, we have hostel facilities for both the boys and girls. Tanjavur and Trichy criteria. What is the criteria for deciding whether it is Tanjavur or Trichy? As I had said before, the criteria for Tanjavur or Trichy is not based on, it doesn't have a domicile criteria. You should have completed your class 10 and class 12 in schools situated in the districts of Tanjavur and Trichy. If you had finished class 10 in Tanjavur and class 12 in Tanjavur, you get a Tanjavur rank. Class 10 and 12 likewise in Trichy, you get a Trichy rank. Class 10 in Trichy and class 12 in Tanjavur, you get a Tanjavur rank. Class 10 in Tanjavur and class 12 in Trichy, you still get a Trichy rank. We only want to make sure that you finished your class 10 and class 12 in the schooling districts of Tanjavur and Trichy. Okay, I also keep seeing a lot of questions coming now. Yeah, so this time the one question is regarding the decimal points. So this time we have received aggregate scores with decimal points. So whatever you have entered, and we have also given provisions for that in our application form to also accommodate your aggregate scores with decimal points. So whatever you enter, so you don't do the rounding of exercise by yourself. Whatever you enter will be captured. So we will also go only by the marks that you have secured. And later we will do the validation process also. If there is a change, we will change it ourselves. But you just enter what is the mark that is shown in your mark sheet. Please don't do the rounding of exercise yourself. We will do the verification process and we will be considering the decimal points up to the point that the boards themselves are considered when we arrive at the aggregate scores. The next question is on normalization. So normalization means basically what we do is we will compare every student's performance with respect to the board topper. Suppose I have scored, let's say 470 out of 500 in CBSE. And from newspaper reports, I understand that 499 for the science stream is the topper's mark. So for the purpose of calculating your rank list, I would put your aggregate score as 450 divided by 499 and not 500. And this is how I will do for all boards. And this way, we will try to address the issue of, different evaluation mechanisms for different boards. And this process of normalization is what we will follow by comparing every student's aggregate score with the topper score. The fee structure. So the fee structure is uniform for all engineering programs. We don't have a differential fee structure based on the popularity of the programs. The fee structure is uniform for all programs as listed in your application form. The next question that I have is JEE round 4 score. Okay, so as I had clearly given you the timelines, our last date is August 14th. So we cannot afford to wait for the JEE 4th round scores. We will process the rank list with JEE main 3rd round and release the rank list. If in the event the JEE scores, the 4th round are released and we are in the 4th round of our counseling, and you feel that you've really done well and you want to participate in the counseling at that point of time using your 4th round score, we will accept the score, but we cannot reverse the counseling process. You will be considered for admission only for that particular vacancy at that point of time with an improved JEE 4th round score. The Kerala board has aggregate for 680. So we will use that as the aggregate. So it's not in multiples of 100. Whatever is the board's maximum is what we will also be taking as the maximum score when we calculate the rank list. What if 2 students get the same rank? Well, if 2 students get the same rank, this is what we usually do. We then take the students, the question is, what if 2 students get the same score? So when 2 students get the same aggregate score, we ensure that the rank is different. We will take the max mark first. Then student with a better max mark will be given the superior rank. Or if the same in max, we will take physics. If it is same in physics, we will take the third subject that is supportive. If it is same all over, then we'll take the date of birth. So that's how we will resolve a tie when there are, in fact, Y2, there are many students who will come with the same aggregate score. So we will resolve the tie by using the max score, physics score, third subject score, or your date of birth. This is how we will resolve the tie. What is the admission process for MTech? Okay. So this is predominantly for BTech and law, but since the question has come for MTech, as we had already advertised, it's a rolling admission. Admissions are based on your undergraduate degree performance, the aggregate that you have. If your last semester results are not yet declared, we will go up to your 7th semester. Based on your aggregate UG score, your MTech admissions are done. GATE candidates will be given a preference, and they will also be given a scholarship which waives you 50% of your tuition fee, and that's how the MTech program happens. The MTech BLSA program, that's a very unique program that we have started this year. That's a special program under the Indo-Taiwan collaborative arrangement, where students of this particular program, the admission process, the selection is your UG score, GATE score if it is applicable, and a one-to-one interview, because this program, the first year, you will do the coursework and lab work at Shastra. The second year, you will do a little bit of coursework and industry internship in Asia University or Yangtze University in Taiwan, and your industry internship in many of the fabrication chip manufacturing facilities in Taiwan. The second year of study is fully funded by Tata Electronics. So you will be receiving a financial support close to around $10,000 to take care of your second year of study in Taiwan. So this is a joint initiative between Shastra, Tata Electronics Private Limited, and our partner universities, Asia University and Yangtze University in Taiwan, considering the growing significance of the electronic design and manufacturing industry in India. I keep getting a lot of questions. I'm not able to see the screen and answer them, and I'm just waiting for the volunteers to get it returned. Yeah, I'm getting the next set of questions. Any interview during counseling? No, there is no interview. So the entire admission process is based on just your class 12 scores and the competitive examination scores. Will I get ranks for both stream 1 and stream 2? Yes. The application by default, you will be considered for both stream 1 and stream 2, because by virtue of having a class 12 mark, you will be considered for stream 2. And if you have a JEE main score or a JEE main score, then you will be considered for stream 1. So any applicant by default, you will be considered for both the streams. If you have not written JEE, still you will be considered for stream 1 and given a rank, except that the weightage for the JEE component, the 25% weightage, your scores will be taken as 0, but you will be considered for stream 1. Another question is on arts and science admission. The arts and science programs like the BSc program, the BCom, the BBA, whether it's here in Tanjavur or the campus in Kumbakonam, the last date for that is today, because the August 14th deadline is only for the class for the engineering and law. The arts and science, we will be considering only your aggregate class 12 scores. There's no competitive exam for that. Based on that, we will be rolling out your provisional admission letters. You will be receiving all of your communication by email. And this is for all the students. You have a registered email ID, you have a registered mobile number. All of our communication will be either to your registered email ID or to your registered mobile number. So please check your email and mobile for all admission updates. It is impractical and impossible to reach out to you in person or an email giving you all these admission updates. We send them as email or SMS, and most of these policy updates will be available in our website. So the first thing, if you want to know about the admission process, visit our website. And if you are amongst those set of students who are entitled to receive an email, you will receive an email. So please check your email. Likewise, please check your mobile SMS also. Don't discard it as though it's a promotional SMS. We will not do any promotional campaign using your mobile data. We will only use it as an information instrument about the counseling updates, rank list. This is what will be the information that we will be sharing with you. How do you arrange for bank loans? So once your admission process is over, usually when the admission is done in the normal circumstances, we will do the counseling process here. So students come here, the process is done. And when the admission happens here on campus, the banks themselves come and put up stalls. So we have, the City Union Bank, the Indian Overseas Bank, Punjab National Bank, all of them coming and setting up stalls here. And on the spot, they grant their educational loans. But since this is going to be online also, our experience last year, once you are admitted into the program, then you will be given bona fide certificates along with a fee estimation schedule. With that, you can apply to the bank. And our banker is City Union Bank. So if you want a City Union Bank loan, then we have another interface mechanism that puts you with the local City Union Bank officials for processing your loan request. If board does not release mark before August 14th, well, that's very unlikely to happen because the Supreme Court's order clearly says all the class 12 scores have to be released by July 31. Only in exceptional cases, for example, CBSE, around 64,000 students, class 12 scores are yet to be released, but that's only because of a transactional issue, and hopefully those results will also come by August 4th and 5th. Very unlikely that some boards will not release the results up to August 14th. Well, August 14th is our deadline. If some board doesn't release the results by August 14th, then we cannot wait. We have waited so far. We have in fact extended the last date of application twice already, and hopefully by August 14th, all board results should be available, and the rank list will be released on August 14th at 9 p.m. sharp. The next question that I have, improvement examination score considered. Yes, we will consider improvement and revaluation both. So once the rank list is released, we will also give you an email ID in the counseling instructions. In the event that you had applied for revaluation or you're appearing for an improvement examination and you get better scores, you can always write to us. It is only under those circumstances we will revise your rank and we will issue a new rank and consider your merit position based on the new rank, because we don't want the student to lose the benefit of a better score. And based on the new rank, we will be allotting you a particular discipline. But the seat has to be available. But we will give you the benefit of the new rank. Will fees change with respect to counseling round? I don't understand the question. Fees is uniform. So it is not that those who participate in the first round with better ranks pay lower fees. Those who participate in second or third, I think that's what you meant, second, third, or with higher ranks, you will be asked to pay more fees. No, the fees will be uniform for all engineering programs and for all students having different ranks. So there is no fee disparity that is linked with your rank. It is same right through. Are you taking the aggregate marks or maths, physics, chemistry? The class 12 scores that we will be taking for calculating your rank list will be your aggregate scores, not just maths, physics, and chemistry. Do we have to apply for your Kumbakonam campus separately? Yes, you have to apply for the Kumbakonam campus separately, and that is why in the online application form, you would be asked between the two options, whether it is the main campus here or the Kumbakonam campus, because in Kumbakonam campus, you have only 2 programs, while in the main campus, you have over 18 programs, of which 2 of them are integrated programs. And that's the next question that's been asked. What is a 5-year integrated MTech program? There are 2 programs that are integrated programs, 5-year integrated MTech, biotechnology, and medical nanotechnology. These 2 programs are designed in such a way that students who get admitted to this program, the biotechnology students will study the first 7 semesters along with the BTech biotechnology students. The 8th and 9th semester, you will have advanced level MTech courses, which you will be studying with the regular MTech students at that point of time. and the entire 10th semester is your project. Likewise, for medical nanotechnology, you will be studying with the BTech bioengineering students up to the 7th semester, and then 8th and 9th, you will be studying with the regular MTech students of medical nanotechnology before doing your internship 10th semester, and then graduating with a BTech in biotechnology and an MTech in industrial biotechnology. So this is how the program is designed. The fee refund. See, insofar as the issue of fee refund is concerned, please have confidence and trust. This entire mechanism of admission is based on trust. As much as we have done the admissions respecting your merit, your scores, and we do it very transparently, you also have to reciprocate with the same level, if not more, the amount of trust on the institution. So we will abide by the, whether it's AICTE or UGC for the different programs, we will abide by their calendar, and all of you will be receiving your fee refund in the event you withdraw online, only consuming the processing time that is required. So all of the fee refund process will be done again very transparently. There is a withdrawal portal. You submit your bank account details, and immediately it will be processed and your fees will be refunded as per the guidelines issued by the competent authorities. Admitted in stream 1, can I change in stream 2 counseling? Well, what we do is, once you're admitted in stream 1, you will also be admitted in, you might have a chance in stream 2 as well. You cannot change from stream 1 to stream 2. What you have to do is, you will be admitted to stream 2 also, and then withdraw from stream 1, and your fees for that will be refunded to you, because there is no provision to shift from stream 1 to stream 2 during the admission process. So you can still exercise your chance in both the streams and then withdraw from one stream if you decide to adopt only one. This is for students who get admitted in both streams. The next question is the hostels. Yes, as I had said, hostels are available for outstation students, for which we have said it is only available to students who stay outside a commutable radius of 70 kilometers from the campus. For them, hostels are available. We give preference to outstation students, both boys and girls. And for the first year students, it is a shared accommodation. And then from the senior year onwards, you have a combination of single room, a double room, with bath, without bath, common bath. So all this will be based on first come, first served registration basis as you move into your senior years. But for the first year, since you're all coming from schools, it's the first time you're entering the university campus, it's better to make new friends and stay as a team. And that's why even in hostel, we encourage students to stay together so that they don't have this homesickness if at all they have them. So it's better to stay together. And that is why for first year, we always insist that it will be a shared accommodation. What? Okay. The next question is specialization courses. Okay. See, specialization courses, these courses are in response to AICTE's approval to certain disciplines that they consider as emerging courses. For example, in computer science, we have 3 specialization courses: artificial intelligence and data science, IoT and automation, cyber security, and blockchain technology. By and large, 65 to 70% of the courses will be mapped identical to the main BTech computer science, while the remaining 30% of the courses will be the differentiating courses that gives you the specialization element. There is another specialization course in computer science called the CSBS, which is designed by TCS. It doesn't mean that those who study will get employed in TCS. It's generally for the IT industry, but TCS took the initiative, took the lead in designing the curriculum, and AICTE has allowed a few institutions to offer this course. And likewise, for ECE, the specialization is cyber physical system. For electrical engineering, the specialization is electric vehicle and smart grids. For mechanical engineering, the specialization is digital manufacturing. So this is the type of specialization courses that will by and large be aligned with the parent discipline. So if it is about electric vehicle, then it will be with electrical engineering. If it is digital manufacturing, the parent discipline is mechanical engineering. So 65 to 70% of the courses will be aligned with the parent engineering discipline, while the differentiating courses will give room for the specialization, which means that you will be having as many opportunities as a mechanical engineering will have, even if you have studied BTech mechanical engineering with a digital manufacturing specialization. So that's about the specialization. The next question is, uh, I'm happy that there's been an overwhelming response, except the questions are moving very fast. I'm just waiting for the volunteers. Yeah. When will arts and science admission start? So as I said, today when we close, immediately you will be start receiving emails. Maybe from Monday itself, the admission process is because this is online and we have your data. All that we require is to process the rank list and get the admission process initiated. So hopefully by early next week, the arts and science admission will start. Mark sheet verification process. See, we have gone ahead in releasing the rank list based on the data that you have submitted, the mark sheet that you have enclosed, and the verification that we have done. Once the admission process is over, we definitely would ask for your original mark list once you are here on campus, because we need to do a check on the genuineness of the mark sheet itself. The process that we usually do is take copies of that, send it to the respective boards to verify the genuineness of the mark sheet, and then we will return your original mark sheets. Now, in the event that there is a disparity in your marks or the mark sheet itself is questionable, then your admission will be cancelled. Is biology mandatory for biotech? No. For any engineering discipline, we only mandate maths and physics as the mandatory 2 subjects that is required. Biology is not required for biotechnology course. Now the JEE weightage. Okay, somebody has pointed out that I said 75%, 25%. Yes, I am sorry. It is not 75, 25, it is 50-50 weightage. The stream 1, 50% weightage for your class 12 scores and 50% weightage for your JEE main scores. So if I had said 75 and 25, I am wrong. It is 50% weightage for your class 12 scores and 50% weightage for your JEE main scores. While for the law, it is 75% for your class 12 scores and 25% for your CLAT scores. Is there a management quota? Okay. Now, all the seats will be through this counseling process. So there is no management quota. There is no donation or capitation fee or anything with which you can get an admission. The only provision that we have an approval is the NRI stream of students for which the admission has started. And if a student who has already been admitted through the NRI, and if in the rank list also gets an admission, we respect that merit also. Because usually what happens is when NRI students, there are CBSE boards outside as well. So we don't by default consider them as NRI students and make them pay the US dollar fees. CBSE in Dubai, if you apply, you will be considered as an Indian student insofar as the rank list is concerned, because the board, your performance in the board exam is what we see. If by virtue of that performance, you would have gotten your admissions in the regular rank list, but you took a chance and got yourself admitted as an NRI student before, then from the second year onwards, you will be treated with the normal fees. You don't have to pay the differential fees for the NRI. So these are the only 2 methods of admission. There is no management quota or any other forms of admissions other than this counseling, which is for 90% of the seats and only 10% is approved by for the NRI purposes. Improvement, oh, that part I have already answered. Can we edit name and date of birth after registering? Okay, so what we actually allow you to do is to only edit your scores. Don't worry about your name or date of birth or your father's name wrongly mentioned in your application. Don't worry about that at all. We are not making you ineligible because your name doesn't correlate with the name in the mark sheet. No. After the admission process is over, once everything is settled, we will give you another opportunity to change your names before we issue our ID card. And in fact, we will give you one more opportunity at the time of graduation in case students have changed their name on their own volition during the period of study. During the time of graduation also, we'll give you one more opportunity to check whether your name is correct and that's how you want it to be printed in your degree certificate. So don't worry about any typographical errors in your name, address, or any other thing. We will be giving you an edit option only to change your class 12 scores and JEE main or CLAT scores if there is a change. And here again, at the cost of repetition, I would advise all students to make sure that you enter your class 12 scores and your JEE main or CLAT score in the application form before you submit. Some of you are under the mistaken impression that just by buying the form and submitting, you will be considered for admission. No, because we need a basis on which we have to release the allot ranks to you. And that for that we need your class 12 scores and your JEE or CLAT scores. It is your duty to enter that and then submit. August 1 to 13 is an opportunity for you to validate your entry. It doesn't mean that you can submit without the scores and then do the verification process and that time edit. At the first submission itself, make sure you enter your scores and your class 12 and JEE scores correctly so that the verification you don't need to edit. If at all you have made a mistake, let the mistake be a genuine mistake. Okay, don't use the edit process and then use that as a license to submit without even entering your marks. Please enter your marks and then submit. Please enter all the branches, whether you like it or not in engineering. Suppose, I don't want to name a course. All courses are very important. But whether you like it or not, you please enter the order of choices because you never know, you might develop a liking towards a particular course based on some guidance that you receive outside. So make sure you enter all the course so that you will be considered during the counseling round. Well, I will also take a few more questions before we close. Should I select stream 1, stream 2, or is it automatic? As I told before, you don't have to do any selection. You will be considered for both stream 1 and stream 2 automatically. Any scholarship that is available to students, yes, scholarships are available to students, performance-based scholarship. Once you become students of Shastra, based on your academic performance, if you're in the Dean's list, that is the top 2%, 20% of your tuition fee will be refunded. If you are between 3% to 10%, 10% of your tuition fees will be refunded to you. So this is how we will give scholarships to the students. Well, there is another, also the government, various governments also give various scholarships. If you're eligible for that, we will facilitate that scholarship process and ensure that you get the government instituted scholarship for students as well. One thing is, in the unfortunate event that a student, and I wish this doesn't happen, but in the unfortunate event that the student loses their breadwinning parent, father or mother, then the student's entire tuition fee is waived. We don't want such students to pay the tuition fee. I wish this number is 0, but you know, such things happen, and the students who have continued and graduated, and those students will not pay the tuition fee till they graduate. The next question, hard copy application, is it required? No, don't take print copies and send any courier or anything, only online application. 2020 pass out, are they eligible? As long as you are eligible in terms of the age limit that we have set, you are eligible. So we will take your class 12 scores of 2020, and in case you have JEE 2020 and you have not returned the 2021 JEE, you can still enter your JEE main 2020 scores and you will be considered for admission as long as your age permits you to apply. There is a discrepancy in the 12th mark sheet. Will it be corrected? School letter that is submitted? No. The discrepancy in the marks can arise only after you get a better score either through revaluation or retotaling. So your board mark certificate that you give is what we will take, and that's the binding marks. So a letter from the school saying that the board mark is different and we have issued this, we cannot be guided by a school certificate. It is the CBSE or the state government or whichever board, that mark certificate will be the binding marks insofar as the rank list is concerned. Only in the event of revaluation or retotaling and through the board, if we get the revised mark, you will be considered for a better rank. Is language marks compulsory? See, you have to enter all the scores that is available in the mark sheet. In the CBSE, you might have a sixth subject, but we usually take 500, and we definitely take maths, physics, and the third subject could be chemistry, computer science, biotechnology, whatever the case may be, and then give the benefit, and of course the first language English, and give the benefit to the student in the fifth subject score. Whichever fifth subject score gives a higher aggregate, we choose that fifth subject and give the benefit to the student. So you enter all the marks. You don't worry about whether it is required or not. What is there in your mark sheet, you enter that. And that's how we will also take it when we calculate the rank list. So friends, I think we are almost coming to the end of this session. Unless I have some more questions. There are two more questions. Okay. Is maths chemistry required for MSc biotechnology integrated? No, actually maths is a mandatory subject only for engineering. For MSc integrated programs, maths is not a mandatory subject. Is JEE main mandatory? I've already answered this question. It is not mandatory. If you have a JEE main score, better enter it. Don't assume that your score is less and you don't want to enter. There is no reason to feel shy or shameful. Enter it. You never know how useful it would be because it depends on what the peer group is. Okay, there is another question. Can we enter the scores of other entrance exam? No, don't enter scores of any other entrance examination. It's of no use to us. Only JEE main or CLAT. Placement opportunities. Well, this is too early a question, but nevertheless, since you have asked the question, let me answer that in the positive, that yes, for good performance, there is always a better reward. And the best that you will get is only when you are closer to graduation. So you have performed good, you have better prospects, and wait for the best to happen at the time of graduation. And our historical placement records has been very impressive. Despite the pandemic, we have touchwood been able to place almost 85% of our students, with the rest proceeding for higher education or other career pursuits that they have in mind, with the record job offers, all top companies from the entire industry spectrum, whether it's IT or electronics or automotive or life sciences. There is a job opportunity that is available for every deserving candidate. You have to do well, continue the good work that you have been doing so far. Don't take campus life, college life as though it is kind of a new opportunity. It is definitely a new opportunity. But then I usually say this, here, you can progress to senior semesters even if you have a backlog, but never have that as a license to have an arrear. Placements are competitive, opportunities are there, but it is competitive. Today, recruiters impose a condition that you shouldn't have even history of arrears. So that's the clean record that they want their potential employees to have. This is an important transition that you are making. Enjoy the transition with a sense of responsibility, and at the same time also understand that the performance really counts. And when you're making this crucial transition from school to college, there will be some adjustment issues. We are all here to help you. So with this background, I welcome you all for the admission process, and I hope I have clarified all the questions that you have in mind. And most of the questions are still readily available in the FAQ section in our website. Please visit them and make sure that your application is complete in all aspects and submitted before the deadline. Don't wait for August 14th. By August 13th, make sure you have submitted your application forms, and August 14th night, 9 p.m. sharp, your rank list will be released. So friends, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to meet all of you in this online environment, and I hope I did my best in answering some of the questions that you might have. And if you have more questions, you can email or visit our FAQ, and we are here to help you out and wish you all good luck, all success, and stay safe. Thank you very much. Thank you.